Good morning, traders. Welcome to StockCast. My name is Todd Derby, along with co-host James Mason. Good morning, James. How you doing today?
Todd, good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing well also. Little shout out to my wife. Today's her birthday. Happy birthday, wife.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. So she's wondering why I didn't take the day off, but I said we have a really, really important.
Wondering why you didn't take the day off for her birthday? What is she, 4 years old?
No, I'm just...
Man, this work never stops.
Work never stops.
All right. Let's see what we got going on. So good morning, everyone. Let's see. All right. So currently, Dow futures are down 60 points. S&P 500 is down 10.5 points. Overall, really, the market is just kind of going just sideways here in the pre-market. Nothing really too exciting, or at least that I haven't seen anything. Todd, have you seen anything really?
No, I think I think the market's trying to figure out why it's running up. And it's coming up to a couple critical areas that you've talked about in the past. So it's testing some resistance and some lines right now. That is this going to break through and keep the bull run going, or are we going to see a reversal? And everything that you read and the people who do technical analysis are all saying we're overbought, we're overextended, we're due for a reversal. But there's so many people who are short that we're getting squeezed.
Honestly, I do think that's what the issue is. For the market to just continue to float up to just shy this for, when I say the market, I'm talking about in SPY, just in general. So for ticker SPY, the SPY, for it to float up to near $430 from where it was, all off of just like horrible bearish macro events. It is, it's mind blowing to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, man, crazy times we live in, Todd.
Yeah. I did average in on my SPY trade yesterday. My new average is just over 407.5 cents. 407.5 cents. So I'm sitting in shares. I'm sitting solid. I mean, I'm in the red, but if this breaks under 400, which I think it's going to happen, I'll be okay. I'll be actually really okay.
I think it's going to go way under 400. Like for me, like 400 ain't even like a target. It's like a freaking beginning. And again, guys, like that's just my own personal opinion. And when I say that, like, I'm not talking about like immediately. I don't have a time frame for it. I don't know. Right now, I'm just waiting to find an entry to buy some puts on. I don't know if I'm going to buy puts on SPY or another trade that I alerted to the TTBB members, but basically I'm just waiting to make my bearish entry and really just like taking it moment to moment. I don't like the current market setup. It's not ideal for me just because, well, this melt up over nothing has just been so bizarre and it has just like thrown everything out of whack. So, yeah.
It's funny because SPY is just like sometimes in the small cap world, short locates will be so readily and easily and cheap available that people pile in. They're like, oh, this is the day I'm going to just make a killing. And that's the day the manipulators or market makers, as they're professionally called, run it, and everyone gets burned because there's so many people who are short. And basically, since the market makers can see everything on the level 1, 2s, and 3s, that they can see the imbalance, they're like, oh, if we go long here, we make more money. So off they go. So I think that's what's going on with SPY right now, and it'll change.
Yeah. So, man, let's talk about politics.
Oh God! Full disclosure, we had James and I had almost a 2-hour conversation last night about politics. So we were doing a little not pre-market, but the day before study market. You want to talk about your boy, don't you?
Well, I mean, I am not gonna say my speculation. I'll just talk about like what has happened, Todd. Okay.
All right.
We don't need that uproar.
So number one, the FBI raided former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort,
which we all should know that by now.
Yeah.
If you even like looked at the news, like you've probably seen that headline.
Yeah, you can't miss that one. In that process, there's been a lot of stuff, a lot of speculation from your mainstream media to Fox media to the pros and cons. Is this legal search, not a legal search? Why it happened, et cetera, et cetera. What I stumbled across yesterday, which I shared with James, is that the FBI seized President Trump's passports. To me, that was a big deal.
Yes. When the FBI raids a place, and they were there for a little over an hour, they know exactly what they're looking for. And they just didn't stumble upon Trump's passports, picked them up, and walked away with them. Just super weird. So, Ron, they returned them today. I didn't see verification on that. I'll have to look into it, but everything was documented for what they collected, which just makes it super bizarre. Which I'm talking about this because it does lead up to midterm elections and the stock market, and just all around manipulation. Man, and it's so freaking crazy how manipulated the market is, and just how like they truly decide on what is going to happen really in the world. But boy, like if they do, actually, no, I don't want to really get into that part of the conversation. I'm trying to think what I really want to say without like trying to get too deep into this, because it'll be just talking about speculation at that point. But anyways, like leading up to midterms, and so many people have already said this, like it's gonna be probably just absolutely wild. And after that, like who knows, they'll probably let it drop off as soon as they get their seats for who they need in position. But man, to pick up a former president's passports, that was no mistake. That's just not how the FBI honestly moves and flows, how they function. It's not sloppy police work for the most part, where you just have somebody going and just grabbing shit. Everything is documented and whatnot. It's just super freaking weird. And if they indict Trump on something, man, there's no telling the volatility it might put in the freaking market. You there, Todd?
I am.
Hold on.
I was reading the article. I hadn't seen the article that they returned the passports. I just pulled it up. What I find interesting that NBC News is reporting the return, but I couldn't find any mainstream media when they took them. So I just that was interesting. But giving them back as a is good. I'll show you one of my speculations on what's going on. I think they're on the Democratic side. No one wants Trump to win. They're scared. I think there's Republicans that don't want Trump to run because he just makes the Republican Party look bad. I think someone has said to him, we need you to sit on the sidelines and be cool and play in the sandbox nicely. And he's like, well, F that. And so I think they're sending a message to him. I don't think anything's going to come of this raid. I don't think they're going to dig anything up. I don't think they're sure he may have had something. I don't think what he's done is completely 100% out of the norm. There may be some things like, you shouldn't have done that, but he's not going to jail. They're sending him a message just how they can F with him and his family. And literally what we're seeing and experiencing is just the tip of the possibilities of what they can do to him. And he needs to get his head wrapped around that, or the rest of his life will be chaotic and living in turmoil and not peaceful.
Not at all. Not even close. Like he'll be stripped of everything.
Yeah.
And I know people would be like, nah, it's impossible, whatever. No, like they will figure out a way to do it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and really at his age, he could sign a multi-gazillion book deal and tell his story. And he could go as detailed and as deep as he wants. And some will believe it, most won't, but it'll be his story. It'll be, and he likes to put books out. So he can go on and be a very influential player going forward for the rest of his life. But if he keeps fighting them, they're going to keep locking him down and shutting him out. And he's going to be like, damn it, why can't I? Where my influence goes? Well, you're pissing it away, fighting. And they just did this by stealing your passports, and it shows you how much power they have.
Yeah. So like basically the point is, man, if something with this triggers, I guess to say, on top of everything else that's bearish in the market, man, who knows what kind of firestorm that this could cause. And then again, it could not even do anything. The media has honestly overall been like low key about this. This should actually have been something that would have been like breaking news, in my opinion,
and would have affected the stock market.
Yes,
that's what's. I mean, like this would be something where like people going, why are we having an 18-point dip in SPY today? Oh, did you hear Trump? Blah 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 blah. And it hasn't happened, which is just goes further to our theory or our speculation that it's all a big shell game that we play in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, not that necessarily me talking about this conversation was indeed like relevant for the market, but I think it's one of those things that like we do kind of need to pay attention to and prepare for, honestly, or try to prepare for just something wild, something negative to come out of it. Because like all this is not happening to look for anything positive. So if something negative would come out of it, especially on top of all of these other economic factors, like just, and the thing is like, I don't know like what could come out of it. I'm just saying like something wild happening. Man, there's no telling like how vulnerable the market is right now. and probably going into like midterms in November. Like there's no telling what it could do to the market. And like if you've been paying attention to the market lately, like you might have realized that these big catalysts that should be pulling the market down, they haven't done a damn thing. It's like the market heard it and was just like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. But these little petty, stupid things that would have never mattered, they're like hyping them up, like, oh, wow, check this out.
The market should be like it should be dumping, but it's not. But then they'll announce that there's nothing going on in the news. Then they'll announce that the President Biden's taking his dog to the vet because he's ill, and the market will take an 8-point dump.
Yeah.
You're like, what? There's nothing going on.
Yeah. So
I think our point we're trying to share with you guys is that you got to pay attention, and you got to be thinking about possibilities and plans in place. And
everything matters. Like politics matter in the stock market. Like we've went years without really like talking about politics in our groups, just because honestly, people cannot be adults. Like people just don't have the emotional intelligence to control themselves on the internet, and they can't talk about politics or religion. Which there's no point in talking about religion in our stock group, but you guys get the point. But politics are 100% wrapped up in the stock market. It's just how it is. So other than that, like Todd, what else do we have?
Not a whole lot. I did tell people yesterday I talked about my Bed Bath & Beyond. I was looking at Bed Bath & Beyond for doing something stupid and getting a short in it. Yesterday in the afternoon at around 1 o'clock, it made a run from low 14s to a high of 1705, and I was shorting during that period. I didn't get in at 14. I got in mid 15s, and then I scaled in. But what's really important about this trade was, if I was using a 1 unit measurement, whatever a 1 unit was for me, my entry was 20% of 1 unit. So I scaled in 3 times. So I bought in, and then I 3 times. And so I was 80% of 1 unit, meaning that I didn't even have my first full unit into the trade. And I was very comfortable watching it run. And then it took a dump or turned around 245, and I started covering on the within that 15-20 minutes after that, which actually was really funny because I had a 3 o'clock doctor appointment with my dog, and my wife's like comes back to me at 2:47, 48. She's like, you got to take the dog to the vet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in a trade and I'm upside down. And then it turned almost on the dime. But anyway, that's what I was watching for. I'm going to watch it again today, but I'm not sure if I'll be a little more cautious today.
Yeah. I mean, as for me, like I'm just talking about general market stuff. There really ain't too much, in my opinion, to talk about. And I do have stuff to talk about, but it's pretty much like alert stuff. And obviously I'm not going to talk about it on the show. So yeah, that's where I stand right now. Weird place for me, at least in the market. I'm just sitting on my hands right now.
Yeah. Well, you're waiting for a couple of things to take place. Taking place for looking for POAI to do its thing and for SPY to do its thing.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Well, that's all I have for today. I'm not going to keep dragging this out. Todd, do you have anything else?
No, we're less than 7 minutes to the market. Have a good day trading. Be careful, be smart, and we'll see you on the next show.